Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate, and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deals. So today I want to talk about financial freedom and kind of fast forward into what it's going to be like to actually be retired. So I know people chase financial freedom, myself included. We throw out these numbers like 10, 20K a month in positive cash flow. But in order to really know what it's like, you kind of have to visualize it first and then pilot it second. So let me give an example. So for visualization, so realistically, if I were to not work today, what would I do? And I've just been thinking about this a lot recently. And my ideal day would be to probably wake up and I'd probably wake up around my usual time, around maybe 7:30 ideally, and to no alarm. And from there I would basically grab breakfast, do my stretches, maybe go to the gym, get some exercise in the morning, get the blood flowing, go for a walk. And at this point I would check my emails, and then I would probably do a little bit of work. So for me, I would be creating content, doing my coaching calls, responding to emails, probably from let's call it 8 to maybe noon. Let's call it that window. So 8 to noon. And then after I eat lunch, for me, I'm the type where after lunch I'm I have that food coma, midday crash, kind of tired, don't want to work as much. So if there is work, I will do it, but I'm hoping that I just would be able to relax, watch some TV, watch some YouTube videos, or just go out for the other half of the day. And I think from then, there's dinner time, and after dinner, go for a walk. But basically, if I were to summarize it, a normal day would be, if I'm retired, is wake up, work out, do whatever work I want to work on for 4 hours. And then once after lunch hits, ideally just relax and do whatever I want to do, whether it's hang out with friends, go on a trip, do whatever. So that's kind of my normal day to day, my ideal day. And what my friend kind of challenged me on recently was, well, why can't you have that now? And I thought, okay, well, it is possible. And in order for me to have that now, I'd have to have some sort of remote job. A lot of people now, they work remote jobs. And let's be honest here, remote workers at most work 4 hours a day. At most they're working from 8 to 12. And after lunch, they're just kind of on standby to just respond to emails, any last minute meetings. But for the most part, it's probably not that productive after lunchtime. So I was just like, I never thought of it that way. So it is possible to have that dream life right now. But the hard part is just going to be, well, where can I find a remote job as a pharmacist? So the only remote job as a pharmacist I can think of is, for the most part, hospitals don't have remote pharmacists unless you work in the IT area. But the IT jobs are not as many, but those are the jobs. You can work at a health insurance company like Blue Shield or Cigna or Aetna, just whatever, TriNet, whatever insurance company there is. You can work there, or you can work for a pharmaceutical company in the pharmacy industry. But those might require more travel to visit customers, which I don't want to do. So realistically, it's IT at a hospital, or I'm working at a health insurance company. So the most realistic would be those two options. And I could work for health insurance at a company, but once again, the job itself is not hard, but the hardest part is getting the interview, is having the connection to get into the job. That's harder, ironically. And from there, it's really about planning, thinking that way. So I just thought, okay, well, if I had a remote job, from 8 to 12 you work, from 12 to 4 it's a little more laid back, a little more easy in terms of that aspect. So that's kind of heading towards your dream life, right? But you're still in this remote work, you're still obligated to a certain job and to work certain times, but you're location agnostic. I could be in the Bay Area with my dad. I could be in LA. I could be in a cabin in the woods somewhere. So it's kind of like all the same in that aspect. Another thing that I've been kind of thinking about is, so there's a way to have it now. So there was a limiting belief on my end that I can not live my dream style because I'm working at W2 and showing up at a hospital. Another thing, so there is a way to have your cake and eat it too, to kind of summarize that. But is it easy? No. But if I can get it, is it worth it? Probably. If I can get a taste of what my dream lifestyle is. Another way is I could take a sabbatical, which would require leaving my job for like 6 months and see what it's like to live that lifestyle, right? Which goes to my pilot later. So I could do like a mini sabbatical, but unfortunately you'd have to probably leave your job, do whatever you want for 6 months. So, I would probably travel, which is part of my retirement. I just want to travel. There's a good deal. There's a good flight, a cheap flight. That's what my parents do now. They just find a good deal, good cheap deal. They just go because they have all the flexibility in the world and just travel when I want. But I know, okay, if I traveled everywhere I wanted to go in the first year, by year 2 or 3, I'd probably be bored. And then I'd be back to that normal schedule I mentioned earlier. Work 4 hours, the first 4 hours a day, after lunch, kind of relax. So, I could try that. Or let's just say I want to retire at 40, and at 39 and a half, I want to make sure that I want to pilot living off of my passive income. So I want to try living off my real estate income. I want to try living off that 4% rule on my index funds, where I'm withdrawing 4% of my money from index funds. So really still work your W2, but just experience what it's like living off of your passive income. Whatever money you make from W2, just set it in a different account, don't see it, and try to simulate what it's like to live off that money, to get a feel. Like, is it enough? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel uncomfortable? Sometimes you may feel so comfortable living off your passive income, you're like, I have way more than I need. You quit your job sooner or leave your job sooner. Or you realize, oh, I didn't realize things were this expensive. I need to make more and build my nest egg even bigger. So it's about like little micro pilots. So you could pilot it by 6 months before actually retiring. Try living off that passive income. Number one. Number two is you just can take a 6 month sabbatical. If you want to leave your job, try it out and then come back to probably a different job, right? Like if I were to do that, I'd have to leave my management job and know that I couldn't come back to a management job because they're hard to come by. But I can come back as a regular pharmacist at a different institution or hospital. So I'm not willing to take that risk yet. But in terms of that pilot of like try living off passive income for 6 months, I probably will do that. So to kind of summarize, like there is a way to live for today, but still plan for tomorrow. And I think that's a key message I got when I was hanging out with my friend is, well, why not just try to get a remote job? Yes, it'll pay you less, maybe $40,000, $50,000 less, but at my salary, $40,000, $50,000 doesn't really improve anything for me. I'm just in a higher tax bracket. But I have to go through a commute. I have to deal with office politics, and people are constantly watching you, versus if you're working at home, you work at your leisure, your pace, you have some duties, but it gives you a little more freedom and you can be where you want. I can work in the clubhouse, I can work at home, I can work in the garden, I can work in my balcony. It just gives you more options, more freedom, more flexibility. And that's why companies are catching on remote work, because you're not really as productive, but you don't have to pack your lunches. You don't have to dress up. It offers some lifestyle freedom, which is what is closer to my vision of me being retired, is just working on what I want when I want, which is 4 hours a day. And after that, just do whatever I want to have fun. And if there's something spontaneous I want to do, then to travel, then I'll do it. If I want to live in Thailand for a month, great, I'll do it. If I want to live in Taiwan for a month, great, I'll do it. If I want to live in Vietnam for a month, great, I'll do it. Go to Japan. I just want all the options. That's really what the core of it is, and why I started investing in real estate, why I started learning about personal finance, why I started to learn how to invest in and I just happened to choose real estate as my vehicle to make money to help me retire. So anyways, hopefully this gave you some insight as to what to do if you're trying to plan for fire, how you pilot it, how you can visualize what your ideal lifestyle would be, and then really try it out. And then from there, reassess and pivot. So anyways, if you want to achieve fire through real estate and you want one-on-one coaching, you want a mentorship, check out my link tree down below. From there, you can see my coaching, my courses, my mentorship, and you can also send me an email from the link tree if you have questions as well. I'm happy to drop you a discount code. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what thoughts you have. I hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.